Hi, I'm Jeremy Nicholas, this is Jimmy Choo. Welcome to Every Day in February. I've got 2 tips for the price of 1 for you today. This is the second last Every Day in February. Can you believe it? 27 videos in 27 days. People said that we wouldn't be able to do it, but we have, haven't we, Jimbo? We have. Okay, tip number 1. I'm just back from an event in the city. Now, it was a lovely event. It was in a famous building that's shaped like a vegetable. And the event went really well, and I met some lovely people, and I very much enjoyed it. And just one thing bothered me about the event is that very early on I realised, and I'll stand up for this, is that this jacket is a lovely jacket and these trousers are lovely trousers, but they're not a pair. Never get dressed in the dark is my advice to you. That's tip number 1, because they're both from different suits. Both of them, not just one of them from a different suit, both of them from different suits. And the second thing, Jimmy, you need to sit up if you're going to be in shot, because otherwise people can't see you and then we get complaints from the viewers. My second tip is, do you think it's a better idea to use a small or a large vocabulary? Okay, and anyone that says large vocabulary, our survey says, I think it's important to use words that everyone, please don't lick me, Jimmy, because it makes me allergic. Everyone in the audience can understand. So, for example, I heard tonight panacea. People saying, oh, it's not a panacea, and I can see a few people who don't speak English as a first language wondering what panacea meant. It's a universal cure-all. In fact, the person used it as saying it's not a universal panacea, and I thought, well, even that's wrong, because a panacea by its very nature is universal. It's something that cures everything. And you often hear people saying it's not a silver bullet, particularly politicians, when they're talking about some policy that's not necessarily going to cure everything. They say it's not a silver bullet. So to understand what that means, you need a knowledge of mythology and werewolves. And is it werewolves, or I think so, yeah, vampires are stakes, isn't it? Werewolves are silver bullet. And you know, sometimes you hear people say it's not a golden bullet, or people say £64,000 question. Well, it's not, it's dollar, and it's 64,000, not 60,000. So just keep it simple. Don't use words that people won't be able to understand, and the whole of your audience will be able to understand it. For example, business events, they're always chucking around the jargon like SMEs and things. And I always think, would my mum understand what an SME is? I'm not sure that she would. And here's the real crucial one that I always think with jargon. What is PA? PA, what's PA short for? Quickly, PA, what's PA short for? Okay, now some of you, assuming that you're playing along at home, some of you might just be just watching, but assuming you're shouting out at home, some of you might have said, oh, I'll tell you what it is, Jeremy, it's personal assistant, or production assistant. In BBC terms, it's a production assistant. Or in journalist terms, it's the press association. When I was working in BBC Radio and reading the news, and something came through on the wires and it was from PA, we would trust it, because the press association, you know, they always get stuff right. But when I work as a stadium announcer at West Ham United, PA stands for public address. So there's 4 different things that could stand for, but people just brandish all these terms around. So my tip today is avoid jargon, avoid having a lively dog on your lap when you're talking to the television, and try and wear bits of a suit that go with each other. And if all else fails, come home to your dog and let off steam by doing a bit of flying. Want to do some flying, Jimmy? Flying! Good boy. Want to do some spinning? Spinning! Spinning! Want to do spinning with Yoda? Spinning with Yoda? Spinning with Yoda! Good boy. Oh, you and Yoda love to spin.